one of my criticisms, which I think goes beyond whether an offensive mastermind will come in next year and fix it. He hasn't tried to force defenses away from it at all. Despite, again, as we've talked about many times, having a seed essentially locked up for the entire last 30 games of the season. And how the answer, again, beyond schematics and strategy.
Beyond schematic stuff, yeah.
Play different lineups.
Okay. That's the answer.
So maybe there's not a solution to this lineup. Maybe there is no coach that could solve it. Let's assume that for a second. Well, if it's the case, then how are you not playing with Deuce McBride with the starters more often? And how are you not forcing teams to make an actual decision as to who their center should guard? It is blatantly obvious. And this is not the first team Cat has played for. And in Minnesota, this was a coverage that teams used for years, is to put a wing on him and force him into the post and take away his pop game. This has been in the league for a long time. And there are things about Cat that make it difficult for him to exploit because he's good in the post, but he's not great in the post.
No.
You know what he's great at? Shooting threes. And if you take that away, you turn him from a great offensive player to a good one. And if he's a good offensive player, then this Knicks offense isn't good enough. So to me, the number one object in Tibbs' mind for the second half of the year should have been, how do I force centers to guard Karl-Anthony Towns? And he never even tried to answer that question. That, to me, is the biggest criticism. I'm not sure there's a solution. I've suggested things that I think the playbook could be more creative. Josh Hart could be moving in different areas of the floor instead of on the wing, more in the dunker spot. I think that would help just to move Duren down a little bit. More horn stuff, which they ran a bunch last year, and they've kind of taken it out just to bring both bigs up, and maybe spring Cat that way might help. In general, there's not enough movement. And because there's not enough movement, you're not moving that very loaded up defense around at all. You know, those are suggestions. I'm not saying they're fixes. There might not be a fix, but more bothersome to me is that he never tried to find a way. And that's despite lineup data, overwhelming lineup data when it comes to the starting lineup, which he claims to always be looking at.
Yeah.
He's big on saying, lineup data. Well, hello, your starting lineup that played more than any lineup in the league by a gazillion minutes was a neutral lineup. For how long? They were a negative lineup for the last couple months of the season. So that to me is inexcusable, especially because of the way the season went. You want to tell me you think it's going to come around at some point? Okay, but you had 2 months where there were no stakes in the regular season. So what exactly were you trying to find out? And now you get to the playoff scenario. I know Deuce isn't playing well. And I'm the first to criticize Deuce for not playing. It hasn't been good enough. I should have gotten much more evidence as to how that lineup looks with Deuce and Hart's place. And I didn't get it.